Welcome to Sports Cartel, where we talk about rugby and why it's the greatest sport in the world. My name is Tony, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Stormers versus Glasgow, away in the quarterfinals of URC, and what happened. You and I are going to be discussing what happened to the Stormers, why they couldn't stop the Storm. Okay, so some people are going to be a little bit confused because how I'm going to start this video, I'm going to actually start with defense, which I think is the biggest issue that the Stormers had. I want to read out some stats that I picked up from after the game, and we're going to discuss if a team that has stats like this can actually win a game. Quarterfinal away in Glasgow. So, line breaks, 17 for Glasgow, 5 for Stormers. Missed tackles, 19 for Glasgow, 40 for Stormers. Tackle success for Stormers, 65%. Now, that seems like it was just a free flow. That was like the N1. I think if you know South Africa, there's a big N1, free highway, a highway. And these guys, they couldn't tackle anything. And you could see it, I think at the end of the first half, there were like 9 breaks. And the person who was actually stinging them, the Tom guy who was playing number 10, he had 4 clean breaks. Defenders beaten, 8. Running meters, 100 meters. 100 meters. The guy was Usain Bolting this thing, bro. And every time he got the ball, he was just cutting the Stormers. And I think they were having such a headache defending this because they had taken a winger, Hatzenberg, not his fault, and they put him as number 13, which is one of, if not the most important defensive player in the backline. And he hasn't played 13, I think, for over 2 seasons. He's been playing wing. So they were just cutting them through ribbons. And I feel really sorry about Hatzenberg because he is a good player. The last game, he won man of the match from the wing. He scored 2 tries. But playing against basically, Scottish stacked backline, he suffered a lot. And I don't know why Dobo chose that way. I think he should have played, I always forgot, I'll put up the name. But the guy who played last time from the Lions, why the Bulls? He played last time, I'm sorry to forget his name, but he played last time and he played well. So he's been playing outside center and you go and take a winger. Yes, he's naturally a center because he was playing center in high school and varsity as well, but he hasn't played in the position for a while. So he suffered. Attack, we had 16 penalties conceded by the Warriors. You thought I was going to say Stormers, right? By the Warriors. 16 penalties. Stormers were dominating the scrum. They were getting like penalties over penalties on the scrum. But the line out was malfunctioning. It was a lottery. Every time the Stormers had a line out, they didn't know if they're going to get the ball back. Right? And they dominated territory for 67%. If you watch the game, those guys were actually camping outside there. They were camping on the Warriors' half, but they couldn't compete. And I'll say the reason because of that was because of the game plan. All right? The game plan for the backline. The Stormers didn't have a problem in the forwards. I think in terms of turnovers in the forwards, they did really well. They secured their ball. They stole some ball. But when it came to the backline, even with territory, even with penalties, the backline wasn't firing. And we have to talk about Sasha, my man, the man of the moment. He didn't really have a good game. He started at fly half and then moved to center because du Plessis got injured. And when he went to center, I don't know if it's the team was too static on attack, or it was him trying to do too much. But they went on the same wavelength. So many balls that were hitting the first guy next to him when he was trying to skip to the other guy. Others, he was just dropping it. He was running sideways, confusing players. Gelans, I've made a video about him, so I'm not going to talk about him now. Otherwise, you guys think I've got a personal issue with him. And I don't know the guy from the bar of soap, so I'm not going to talk about him. But another issue that put pressure on the back line is that Dobbo chose to have a 6-2 split. In actual fact, let me just say this. The other day I was thinking that they shouldn't be allowed to have a 6-2 split in provincial games for this reason. You had Jantjies playing wing. Jantjies the scrum off because he was covered for the scrum off, but they lost 2 centers. So Sasha moved inside to cover the 1 center, and the other wing, I think it was Loader, he came in to cover the center, and then Jantjies went to the wing. Terrible. I mean, you can't do up and unders with that guy on the wing. And Glasgow was dominating in the air anyway, even with the, Loader and Senatla. Senatla, he had a good game, by the way. He had a really, really, really good game. Very, really surprising. He was committed. But the rest of the back line, terrible. And the 6-2 split didn't help because they didn't have anyone who could take any of the center positions. Sometimes you have a scrum off, someone who can play 10, 12, or 13, and then someone who can play in the fullback. So they didn't have that anyone. I mean, if you watch the game, you saw that they didn't have any plans after they started getting injuries. So it was bad, but for me, I'm gonna say now, I actually expected this, and the reason why I expected it is because the Stormers were hitting form, but you could see that there was something. If they had to meet the big boys, there was something missing, and they didn't answer the question. And the big question they had in this game, and they didn't answer, which actually explains about the back line. They didn't replace Willemse. They couldn't handle playing without Willemse, and they suffered. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what you think about what I'm saying now, but I think Willemse's missing from action really caused them some pain. So, anyway, it's Friday night, man. These guys have really messed up my evening. See you guys tomorrow for the other games. Sharks versus Munster and Bulls versus Edinburgh, if I'm not mistaken. I'll also review those ones. Cheers.